You check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy.
Nothing has brought me greater joy than watching the Walt Disney Company absolutely panic over the last few weeks. They're mad at South Park because they're making fun of their woke ideologies, constantly race swapping or religion swapping everything in their movies.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, I don't need your business.
Yeah. Weird.
What an idiot I've been as a young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea what she's doing.
I did not like Snow White. The reason why is that the actress that plays Snow White, she acts like a bitch all the time.
Weird.
What the hell is even that?
Because right now there's more dwarves on this podcast than there are in the new Snow White movie. And that's probably due to Peter Dinklage.
Yep.
When I was a child, I used to think Snow White was a Japanese lady. She has geisha-like pale skin, black hair, and tends to 7 ugly white men.
Who's the Disney character you identify with most? Mickey, Nemo, Peter Pan, or Dumbo? Dumbo.
Wishing apple. A wishing apple? You offer it to me freely. In place of the patriarchy, you would have a queen! Not white, but diverse, inclusive, and equitable! I will become the leader I know I can be! All shall love me and despair!
Oh, what has she done to you? Fear not. First Love's Kiss can break any curse. Excuse me. Your curtain. Please allow me to help.
Help? From you?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement. I'm not some damsel in distress waiting for you to ride in on your high horse.
What happens when Disney's biggest fairy tale becomes its worst nightmare? Rachel Zegler's Snow White remake was supposed to be a triumph, but it crashed harder than a poisoned apple, and South Park turned it into a national joke. This is the story of how one film sparked a firestorm, humiliated a rising star, and left Disney scrambling. Stick around because this Hollywood disaster is wilder than you think. Disney poured over $200 million into their live-action Snow White, banking on a classic to rake in billions. Rachel Zegler, fresh off West Side Story, was cast as the princess with Gal Gadot as the evil queen. Directed by Mark Webb, this was meant to be Disney's crown jewel, a modern take on their 1937 animated gem. Fans were buzzing until the cracks started showing. But what could go wrong with a story everyone loves? Zegler's casting lit a fuse. As a Latina actress playing Snow White, she faced ugly racist attacks online with critics whining she wasn't white enough. Zegler clapped back, but then stirred the pot by calling the original film's romance weird and its prince a stalker. Her bold words made headlines, painting her as a fearless star taking on a dated tale, but those comments were just the start of the storm. Disney decided to ditch the prince entirely, turning Snow White into a fierce leader who didn't need saving. No true love's kiss, no dreamy romance, just a princess plotting to overthrow the evil queen. Fans of the classic felt betrayed, accusing Disney of gutting the fairy tale's heart. Social media erupted with complaints that this wasn't Snow White, it was something else entirely. And then came the next bombshell. The 7 dwarfs? Gone. Well, sort of. After actor Peter Dinklage called out the remake for leaning into stereotypes, Disney replaced the beloved characters with CGI magical creatures. The move was meant to be progressive, but it backfired. Little person actors were furious, pointing out they'd lost iconic roles to digital stand-ins. Leaked images of the creatures looked like a cheap fantasy flick, not a Disney classic. Fans and actors alike felt cheated. But the drama was far from over. Zegler and Gadot's real-world politics poured fuel on the fire. Zegler's vocal pro-Palestine stance clashed with Gadot's pro-Israel views, sparking boycotts from both sides. The film was even banned in Lebanon because of Gadot's Israeli background. This wasn't just a movie anymore, it was a geopolitical lightning rod. With tensions rising, the stage was set for a box office bloodbath. When Snow White hit theaters on March 21st, 2025, it tanked hard. Disney expected a $150 million opening weekend but got a measly $43 million. The film's $270 million budget ballooned with marketing, and it's now projected to lose $115 million. Theaters were ghost towns. Zegler herself watched it in a nearly empty screening with a few friends, cheering awkwardly as her name flashed on screen. Reviews were brutal, with a 40% Rotten Tomatoes score and a 1.6/10 on IMDb from review bombing. But the worst was yet to come. Enter South Park. In a 2025 episode, the show unleashed Woke White the Reinvention, a savage parody roasting Zegler's comments, Disney's changes, and even Kathleen Kennedy's influence. Snow White became a preachy princess who rejected love for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Clips went viral on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube, with memes and reaction videos piling on. Zegler was no longer just a star, she was a punchline. And South Park wasn't alone. Even The Simpsons, owned by Disney, joined the roast with Snow Woke the Reimagining. Their Snow White was revived by a lady doctor instead of a prince, poking fun at the remake's heavy-handed messaging. Joe Rogan and Bill Maher chimed in, calling it a textbook case of Hollywood overcorrecting and alienating fans. The industry was lining up to dunk on Zegler, and the internet ate it up. But how did she respond? Zegler was reportedly livid. Insiders say she demanded Comedy Central pull the South Park episode, calling it defamatory and humiliating. She even clashed with Jack Black, who blamed her and Godot for stiff performances that sank the film. Sources claim the stress sent Zegler to therapy, while Disney went into full meltdown mode. They paused a tangled remake, and rumors of layoffs swirled as executives grappled with a battered brand. Was this the end for Zegler's fairy tale? Disney's Snow White was meant to redefine a classic, but ended up a cautionary tale. From racist backlash to political feuds, CGI dwarfs to empty theaters, it was a perfect storm of missteps. Zegler's bold stance made her a lightning rod, and South Park's roast sealed her fate as Hollywood's latest punching bag. Will she bounce back at the Met Gala or fade into obscurity? And can Disney salvage its live-action dreams? Drop your thoughts below. Did Zegler deserve the heat, or was she set up to fail?